Now I'm going to break down the Baylor women's soccer roster for the 2025 season, as well as give my thoughts on the ceiling and the floor for this team. And I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. And this is like prior to any preseason poll for the Big 12 coming out. There's obviously the national one, I know. And I kind of go over like this preseason top 25 teams that Baylor's going to even face, and even like a receiving vote team they're going to face this year. So, and I'm going to say the least that this team is very experienced. 8 seniors, 16 juniors, only 1 sophomore, and 4 freshmen. So they are a veteran team. So that's just saying the least. And the number of forwards is 9, midfielders is 7, defenders is 9, and goalkeeper/goalies are 4. But I would think Azul Alvarez gets the nod, but this is why you have good competition. And I wanted to go over this now because there are practice games coming up literally on August 5th against LSU and August 9th against SMU. And another thing to note for the Big 12, the Big 12 tournament's only for the top 8 in terms of the standings. So the quarterfinals and the semifinal games will be played at TCU, while the championship will be played at Baylor. So just to make things clear about that. Now, I will say, it's not, this league in terms of soccer is not as good as the ACC or the Big Ten or the SEC even. I'm just being honest. Look at the preseason poll. I know TCU is ranked in the top 10, but I don't know. That might be a little stretching it a little bit, in my opinion. They're not preseason number 9. Baylor gets to play them on the road. They do play Texas, as a non-conference game at home. And same thing goes for Mississippi State. That's number 20. And there's obviously Oklahoma State on the road and Texas Tech on the road on the schedule. So, yeah. So I'm going to just briefly say this. I do think this is the best team yet under Michelle Leonard as head coach. I mean, look at the experience. Look at what they brought in terms of the transfer portal and returners they have. And I know they did lose a few pieces last year that started. But when you look what they got in terms of transfers, I think that more makes up for it. I really do. To say the least. And obviously the goal is to be an NCAA tournament team. I think they could do that at best, maybe as a round of 32, if they could get there. That's the thing. And obviously, be a top 8 seed in the Big 12 tournament, that would really be helpful. But I know, it's a different conference and everything, but the ACC still had some NCAA tournament teams despite not making the conference tournament last year, and they only have like 6 teams, 6 schools selected for that. So, it's not the end all be all, but it's all about the RPI and the strength of schedule, wins versus losses. And I know there are a few games that they want to get back from last year, and there's no need to mention for this year at all. But I'm going to just say this. If they did what they did last year in terms of non-conference, maybe exception to give one more win against Texas State instead of a tie, then they'll help themselves more. But conference-wise, that's where they need to do more than last year. They should have not really tied with Iowa State. That was a killer. And obviously, like BYU and losing some of those games in conference play really hurts. So, yeah. Actually, Texas Tech is a home game, but still, that's not going to be an easy one. But this is why this is preseason polls, and things could really well change from last year to this year. And the first game up front is Texas A&M out on the road. And I'm going to go over this later, but Texas A&M loses a lot of production. Look at the number of goals they return. Number of starts. Yeah, and there's obviously Denver and Montana's, like, Montana, and there's Denver as a neutral site in the state of Montana. And Mississippi State last year only beat Baylor 1-0. So, and that was game number 1. So if they could get that type of win, that really helps. And same thing goes for like Texas. So really, and they're getting both those at home, and it's only really the only game they're going to play that week. I mean, that Thursday instead of Thursday then Sunday, getting one of those wins would really help, and as well as like beat Denver and Montana and beat Texas A&M. Texas A&M was not even as good last year despite all that experience, and now they lose a lot. So, and there's obviously Abilene Christian University they need to beat as well, but that's besides the point. And hopefully this year against BYU, they can finally break through and beat them. So to me, the ceiling for the Big 12 wise for Baylor is the top 7 in the league. I don't know about flat out win it, but top 7 seems realistic. Maybe a number 6, but that's even then might be pushing it given all the teams around them. But still, you know. Now, worst case scenario for the Big 12, they missed the Big 12 tournament, be where they were at last year, which is like 10th in the conference, maybe a little bit worse. And then they still don't make NCAA tournament. So hopefully this team could take the next step forward, because they've been taking steps forward since year 1. Because literally year 1, tough year. Year 2, they made the Big 12 tournament, didn't win a game. Last year, they went to the Big 12 tournament and won a game, and then lost somewhat controversial against Texas Tech. So, and I'm saying controversial because of what happened, but y'all could check out that. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Goal, so my goal is 1,000 more. So my month, this course, like video, comment video really helps YouTube background. Some more people see it. Sharing the video does help as well. Some more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well. And they do not need to have any bad losses or bad ties in there this year to even think about NCAA tournament this year. I'm pretty sure they're wanting to take that extra step. I'm pretty sure. Because they've been building. And now they have a shot to potentially be better than last year's team. Not just in terms of the Big 12, but maybe they make it to the postseason. In terms of like the NCAA tournament. Maybe. But we'll have to wait and see. And hopefully they stay healthy as well. Hopefully they do.